Te veo, tú eres muy hermosa. Yeah, I thought I talked to you. I thought I tell it to your friend, but since you speak English, okay.
When we're doing these approaches, okay, generally speaking, right, this isn't a script, it's not written in stone, you can fuck around with it or whatever, but generally speaking, what we're trying to do...
Te veo, tú eres muy hermosa.
Dale, gracias.
¿Estás caliente?
Sí, está haciendo frío.
No, eso es mucho caliente para eso. Vestir.
Sí.
Vestirse misto. Oh man, I need to learn my Spanish.
¿De dónde eres?
Estoy de Serbia. ¿Sabes sobre de mi país?
No, muy poco.
Muy poco. Serbia. Vampiros son de Serbia.
Ah, ok.
¿Sabes de vampiros?
Sí, obvio.
Beber de sangre, muy peligroso. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Hablas inglés? ¿Un poco? Te veo, tú eres muy hermosa. Yeah, I thought I talked to you. I thought I tell it to your friend, but since you speak English, okay. Understand me? ¿Comprende me? Nah, aprendo español, para mí español es malo.
Where are you from?
I'm from Serbia. Ever heard of Serbia?
No, so.
Oh, it's a small country in Europe. Well, what can I tell you about Serbia? Well, vampires come from Serbia.
Okay.
Yeah, you know the myth about vampires, you know?
Okay.
Oh, dark, handsome gentlemen, but they are dangerous. They suck your blood.
What is your work?
I'm here on work actually. I'm an engineer,
Okay.
electrical engineer. I'm here for like 2 weeks.
Super.
Hey, I'd like to take you for a drink or something, but you already have a drink.
My Instagram?
I don't do Instagram. Can you give me your number?
My number I can't.
Sorry.
It's only Instagram.
Okay. Are you from here?
Yes.
Lived in Bogota all your life.
I live in Cali.
Cali is
Cali, Colombia.
that's nothing Bogota. Is that part of Bogota or a separate city?
Other city.
Another city. Yeah. Oh, you have to go. Okay. Very, very pretty. Nice to meet you. Bye. Well, she was soaking up the attention, but didn't get the number. Offered me her Instagram. I wouldn't take it. I wanted the number. But
Okay.
Actually, the friend could be her mother or something. She was
Pulling her
visibly
away.
older, and she got bored and pulled her away.
Yeah, okay.
That was obvious.
Okay.
And it's-
But different things work for different people, okay? He's got a certain archetype. It's not an archetype I would particularly want. It works for him, great. There are different ways of skinning a cat. You know what I mean? So you've got to find what works for you. You've got to take stuff from each of these people and think, okay, right, but realistically, what's going to work for me, you know? It's not about, you know, becoming one of these guys you see on YouTube with a beard who sits in a car and rants about women. It's not about becoming that version of masculinity, okay? That's a version of masculinity. Works for some people, not particularly my bag. So, you know, you got to figure it out for yourself, really. Well, he's come from a sort of BDSM background, which is obviously a slightly different thing again. Fetish, you know, BDSM, control, whips and chains. Well, it's not really, but it's about dominance and, you know, all that bollocks. So, I mean, not in a masculine way, but I think that you want a little bit of fire there, I think, for me. You know. All right, so basically, fundamentally, right, so when we're doing these approaches, okay, generally speaking, right, this isn't a script, it's not written in stone, you can fuck around with it or whatever, but generally speaking, what we're trying to do is we're going in and usually we're going to pay a compliment. So usually we're going to be direct. We're going to go, hey, listen, I just saw you, you look very nice, you look cute, you look pretty, you could go further, you look sexy, you look hot, whatever.
I like your style, I like your energy.
I like your style. I had to come over and say hello, okay? Then, ideally, you want to follow up with some sort of observation quickly, because otherwise, what will often, maybe less so here, but what often happens in London is you go, oh, I just saw you look really nice, Joe, haha, thanks, and then she walks off, okay? That moment, that second of silence, you've got to fucking fill it. Otherwise, she's going to walk off, most of the time, okay? So, a way to do that is to say, what I noticed about you was something, you know, oh, you don't look like you're from Bogota, I'm getting a Venezuelan vibe from you, is that, you know, or you look maybe Brazilian, or you look like you're European or something, right? She might not be, she might be. She might then say, well, actually, I'm from, I don't know, Peru, for example. Now, at that point, you've got a potential topic that you could talk about, right? So maybe you've been to Peru, maybe you haven't, you know. If you have, you could be like, oh, no way, I was actually in Peru last year and we were on this vacation and this happened and that happened and blah, 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 right? So you can talk a little bit. If you haven't been to Peru, then you can either talk about the fact that you'd like to and the kinds of ideas, you know, stereotypes or notions you have about Peru. As what I've heard in Peru, it's, you know, it's like this, is that true? I've heard the food's amazing. I've heard Lima can be a little bit dangerous. What are the good areas to stay? Or you can cut that topic and you can try and get something else. So you might say, oh, so what are you up to today? She's like, well, I've just been at work. Okay. Oh, I've just been at work. Okay. Oh, looking at you, you look very creative. I imagine maybe you're a fashion designer. She's like, no, I'm an accountant. Fuck me, accountant. How have you got such a boring job? You know, actually, that's not entirely true because I know accountants and they love to party, they go crazy. Is that like you or something like that? So what you're trying to do is elicit something that you can have a normal conversation on. You know, like you can go back and forth on a little bit, okay? Hopefully, at some point, she's going to sort of buy into you. So she's going to be like, oh, and you know, so do you live here or how long are you here for? Or she'll ask you something. That's often a good sign of some interest, not that she's going to jump into...
when she asks anything about you, anything that's an interest.
Because what she's saying is, I'm happy for this conversation to be happening, you know? Because she's not going to do that if she wants you to fuck off, okay? So it's a good sign. It doesn't mean she's going to jump into bed with you, but it's a good sign. So then you can tell her the information. At that point, you can sort of tone it down a little bit and maybe get a little bit more factual, a little bit more like, oh yeah, you know, I'm here on business for a few days, you know, I'm based in the UK, but I travel around a lot or whatever, you know, you're going to say. How about you? Find out a bit about her. And you want to genuinely find out some stuff about her as well, you know? And then you just go for the close. You just say, look, this has been really cool. My friends are over there. We you know, I've got to get going to a meeting, but, you know, this has been great. You seem like a really interesting girl. Let's do numbers, like Dave said. You know, let's exchange numbers. Give her the phone, get the phone number right. So that is the sort of the basic sort of structure that you want to be doing, if that makes sense. Okay? Obviously, you can deviate from that. I mean, taking any action is better than taking no action. So if you get in front of her and then you can't think of anything to say, and all you can think to say is asking some questions, well, that's okay, because, you know, that might spark something, and then you can talk about that. In general, we want to be trying to make statements and observations rather than asking questions, because we don't want to have too many questions, because that can seem intrusive and, you know, what the fuck. And in doing that, you want to also be trying to communicate, you know, you want to be teasing her a little bit. If she says something, you know, you want to be trying to tease her a little bit. You want to be making it humorous. And, you know, as we said before, I mean, strong eye contact, really important. You know, so there's a subtext to this. You're not just some goofball who's being friendly to her. You're not some gay best friend, right? You know, she can tell that underlying this, there's this kind of animal attraction that you have for her, and you're talking about the superficial stuff. Eye contact can do a lot of the hard work for you, okay? Bits of flirtation, if you can squeeze them in, you know, depending on how comfortable you are with that. Right, but you don't want to communicate I'm feeling good. You want to communicate sexuality. All right, it's a slightly different thing. Think about James Bond in those movies. Think about Daniel Craig's James Bond in those movies. He's not communicating, hey, let's all have a party. He's communicating something that's a bit darker than that, a bit deeper. Yeah. You know, this is what we talk about in The Edge, okay? Yeah. That's what you want to be communicating. You know, so yeah, it's great if you feel good, it's great if you're positive and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, you want to have that steel as well, a little bit, because what she's going to pick up on, she wants to get fucked by some exciting, mysterious dude, okay? That's what you want to be communicating. Even if that's not really you, or if it's not really me, or if it's not really any of us, we want to be bringing that out a little bit, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, okay.
Book a call on the link below so we can help you map out exactly what you want in your dating life, the strategy, the vision, and we can help you get from A to B as quickly as possible, depending on what you want. That's the key thing. We've been doing this for 10 years. We've worked with thousands of dudes. We can save you your most valuable assets, which are your time, your attention, and your money, and get you from A to B as fast as possible. So book a free call, a free dating strategy consultation with us below.
Hablo español solo un poco.
Español.
Te veo, creo que tú eres muy hermosa. Quería hablar contigo.
Es que estamos de afán.
No comprendo.
Estamos de afán. Gracias. Gracias.
Okay, no worries, all right, see you later. So that kind of simplifies the whole thing, because you're walking up to a girl, I mean, you can kind of tell, can't you, in the first couple of seconds, you know, is she into this or not? All right, she's kind of not into it really. Okay, fine, no worries. There's another 4 billion of you on the planet, you know, it is what it is. So that does simplify it, but I think we also need to have a reason why we're talking to these women, okay? And that's why and when we're saying direct, we're not, like, it's pretty mild. We're going in and saying, oh, I like your style, you look nice, right? We're not saying, oh my God, you're a fucking, you know, supermodel or something. We're indicating interest in a relatively subdued way to give context to the interaction. Because otherwise, why the fuck are you talking to her, right? She's got to get it on some level that you're hitting on her, you know?
Yeah.
Now that can be quite mild, it can be a raised eyebrow, it can be a flirtatious little, you know, sort of cheeky James Bond wink or whatever, but she's got to know on some level that that's what this is about, because otherwise the danger is you get into friend-zoney conversations and you talk to these women, they're like, oh, he was such a nice guy, oh great. You know, would you fuck him? Fuck no, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, we want them to know on some level what we're about so that they can choose if you've got female friends and you're holding a candle for them and it's been going on for ages, I would forget about it, because you're probably fucked already. You know, it's going to be very hard. It's extremely hard to change a woman's perception of you that's been born over many years. Sometimes impossible. You know, it does happen in rom-coms. In real life, she probably has already put you in that box. So I'd forget about that. The whole beauty of this is we're meeting women where it's a clean slate. You know, we're meeting women they don't have any preconceptions about us. They haven't put you into the friend box, okay? So you can start afresh, right?
Book a call on the link below so we can help you map out exactly what you want in your dating life, the strategy, the vision, and we can help you get from A to B as quickly as possible, depending on what you want. That's the key thing. We've been doing this for 10 years. We've worked with thousands of dudes. We can save you your most valuable assets, which are your time, your attention, and your money, and get you from A to B as fast as possible. So book a free call, a free dating strategy consultation with us below.